Welcome to the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County Candidate Forum for primary candidates for the City of Linwood Council Position 3. That's a mouthful. I'm your moderator, Jody Troutwine. I'm a member of the League and I'm the outgoing Voter Services Chair. Our candidates for the City of Linwood Council Position 3 are Joshua Binda and Lisa Utter. James Rutherford will not be participating in this forum, although, as always, the League has invited all candidates. The League thanks these candidates for running for office, for their being willing to serve the community in all the time that will take if elected, and for participating in this forum. It's the policy of the League to be nonpartisan. Therefore, we neither endorse nor oppose candidates or parties. We do take positions on issues which we have studied and on which we have reached consensus. Ground rules for the forum have been sent to these candidates ahead of time. Let me briefly explain the question and answer period rules. The first 3 questions have been sent to the candidates. They are designed as an introduction to each candidate's qualifications and strengths. I will pose the questions. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to respond to each question. The 4th and final question will allow a 90-second answer, and I will remind you. We are using a countdown timer that is visible to all candidates. It shows elapsed time, signaling when there are 15 seconds left and when time is up. Time limits on answers will be strictly enforced. When you see the timer turn red and hear the chime, you are done. For the order of questions, I will change the starting order for each question. So because there's just 2 of you, it'll be back and forth. And sometimes you'll answer 2 questions in a row first, for the last and the first. The order was determined to ensure a random and fair sequence. And the order for the first question will be Mr. Binda, then Ms. Utter, and then we will switch. Let's begin. The first question, Mr. Binda, and the question is, what are the major responsibilities of this office and what skills are needed to perform them well?
Well, the major responsibilities of this office are, first and foremost, to be representation and a voice of the residents of the people of Linwood, as well as reviewing and approving the annual city budget, establishing the tax rates, overseeing performance of the local public employees and the effectiveness of programs funded by the city, as well as communicating policies and programs to residents and regulating public health and safety. The skills needed to perform these tasks well are having a great interpersonal relationship with the community members, having great leadership and taking initiative, also being financially adept and knowledgeable, and being able to cooperate towards the benefits of the city as well as fellow city council members. That's how I would say are the responsibilities of this office and what are the skills needed to go about it.
Thank you very much. Ms. Utter?
Just the clock start over. Hi. Yeah, thank you. So I think the main responsibilities of this office are that you're planning for the city, you're planning the budget, you're determining how we're going to allocate resources, and then you have provide oversight and insight. So I think that those are the kinds of things where it's very helpful to have been on the planning commission as I was, or on or to have had some budget experience, and as I have had, having been served on the council before and having gone to school to get a master's in public administration. The important thing is that you represent the community, and that is makes that you need to have really good listening skills, and then you need to be able to work with others. As we are part of a little suburban area here, we really need to work really well with others, and I think you need to keep the big picture in mind, that you're not just dealing with your little area, but the whole region. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then back to you again, Ms. Utter. The second question is, what are 2 or 3 major issues that need to be addressed by the Linwood City Council?
So I think that for our residents, the important thing is affordability, and that means housing affordability, it means utility affordability, it means that our services are affordable and our taxes are reasonable, and that we provide great services. The other thing is that, and that ties into my second thing, which is transit. the transit is a big piece of affordability for people who live in this region, but it is also a big part of how we're going to address climate change. As the light rail arrives here, we have a chance to really um, use that as a jumping board to address climate change and how we can be more sustainable environmentally in this region. And then the other thing is how you engage people. Suburban cities are often, people sleep here and don't necessarily consider themselves involved, and that's one of the important things that we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now this second question to Mr. Binda.
Well, first and foremost, I think affordable housing is a very important thing. I believe we have a unique opportunity here in Linwood to make it home for everyone. Linwood's a very expensive city to live in right now, with the average household costing a little over $508,000 and rent being a little over $2,000 as well. And with the average wage of Snohomish County being around $13.50 and the livable wage also being $19.57, this gap shows the struggle most people have just getting by in our city. And with the light rail coming in, it is important now more than ever we draw more people towards the city, and the economic effects towards COVID as well as making sure that we have starting with more low and mid income housing so more people can afford to live in the city as well. We must ensure a range of new housing options, protect renters and long-time residents in our city, coordinate multi-agency efforts to induce healthy building patterns, and use zoning to promote mixed and use transit-oriented developments. I'm also very focused on our budgeting. It's important right now than ever we spend money on things that benefit the community. Since COVID, we lost about 9.2 million in revenue. So I think it's important now than ever we really prioritize where we spend the money in the city.
Thank you so much. Okay, and back to you again, Mr. Binda, for question 3. What qualifications and experience make you a strong candidate?
So some qualifications I have, though I do not have public office experience, I do have experience positions of leadership, from serving ASB president for Snohomish Tech to being elected as the new chair of the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Commission for the city of Linwood. I bring a passion for the community, as I've been heavily involved in the city currently today in volunteering at the Linwood Food Bank, working at the COVID lab center to make sure people were getting tested during COVID, the pandemic, as well as taking part in city council meetings. Also my lived experience as not only an African American, not only a student in the city of Linwood, but a son of immigrants, gives me insights that the current Linwood City Council does not have. And so I think really important right now, I bring a new voice, a new leadership towards Linwood that's going to help Linwood bring another perspective and representation that Linwood hasn't had in the prior past. And currently, and also being able to work to also with the current city council to also bring both perspectives to the table and be able to make accomplishments and work together with the community members through that. So I bring a perspective that has not been brought to the city council, and also working towards the betterment of the future towards Linwood as a new voice.
Thank you. And Ms. Utter, question 3.
So I served 12 years on the city council before, before going into the nonprofit sector. Before that, I had a legal background. And it was a small business owner. So I have knowledge about all the kind of interacting pieces on the council and the region. I also have been very involved in the community. I'm the chair of the emergency cold weather shelter. I volunteered at many different things. I've worked on equity and diversity by helping to bring the racial justice grant to Linwood that resulted in eventually in the diversity commission, which has been an important addition to our community engagement. And I think can probably do a lot more over the period of time. Let's see here. I also have a background in mental health, which ties into the homelessness issue.
Thank you so much. And so now we're going to turn it back to you, Ms. Utter. This is the 92nd question. And here is the question. What have we neglected to ask that you would like to bring to our attention?
So I do think that you haven't asked too much about inclusion and how it impacts and how you bring people into the city. And I know that there are still people on certain boards who feel like they are not being listened to. And I think that is a crucial point. We need to listen more to our boards and empower them to make changes and to do things. But you know, and it's a moving target, of course, because where at least a large percentage of our population lives in apartments, and so they're constantly moving, and we haven't really had this center. But the city center, I think, is probably the key that you have not done, which which is with the light rail is going to bring together. It's going to have a civic space for people that beyond what we have now, which is the library and some of our parks. We have some great amenities here, but not kind of a central thing that people can say, yes, this is the heart of this city. That's what I think is probably should have been asked more about. There's a lot of plans for those in place, and I would like to help implement them.
Okay, thank you so much. And Mr. Binda.
I think the question you guys forgot to mostly ask is how, as candidates, can we continue improving Linwood? And I look at it as in the standpoint as we can continue improving Linwood by bringing perspectives and bringing things to the table that haven't necessarily been brought to the table before, as well as continue to represent the people, continue to have the new voice of Linwood for the community members currently right now and how they're currently feeling. What are some of the issues they've been experiencing? I've had the privilege of going door to door and just kind of asking a lot of the things people have been struggling with in the city. A lot to do with the new developments that are happening in parking and a lot of recreational issues that people are having. They're worried about traffic and the new transit. And so I think a lot of the things that people are very focused on is people want growth right now in our city, but they also want to maintain the current Linwood that we have at the same time. And so it's about finding that middle balance of growth and prospering towards the new things that are going to bring more prosperous, more revenue, more benefits towards our city, but at the same time keeping our current residents safe and secure and feeling that they have a voice still, that they're being represented just as much as any new incoming residents in our city are. And I think that's very important as we continue to progress forward, is to continue to, whether that's continue having our taxes not being raised, having fair taxation, focusing on spending money and implementing things that benefit the current people of Linwood, and also the progressing people coming into Linwood as well, and making sure traffic and transit is still being figured out pretty well, and that we're not construing too much in one area and making things in Linwood more complicated. And so I think people are just really wanting to have that balance right now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So this concludes our forum, and I really want to thank the candidates because it's super hard to get so many good ideas in the short time, and you both did a great job doing that. So thank you so much for doing that. A recording of the forum will be available on the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County website and our YouTube channel, and will be aired on KSER 90.7 FN. You can find the full schedule of candidate forums at our League website, which is LWV, League of Women Voters, Snoho, SNOHO.org. We encourage the viewers and listeners to explore additional information about these candidates and all candidates. The Snohomish County voter pamphlet will be mailed to residences starting July 14th, and primary election ballots will be mailed on July 15th, and election day is August 3. Please, please vote. And thank you again for taking your time to learn about these candidates.